Good morning, friends. So today the chapter of class 6, the next chapter after the food, that is the getting know about plants. About plants. So by the name it is clearly suggests that we will discuss in this chapter about the plants. So what are the main topic of discussion regarding our syllabus? That is, first of all we will discuss different types of plants. And the next segment of our discussion, that will be the description, brief description about the different portions of the plant. Just like the roots, stem, the leaves, flowers, etc. Brief description of the parts of plant. So that is the subtopics that will be covered in this chapter. So we are moving one by one. So first of all we will discuss about the different types of plant according to their characteristics. So let's have a look. According to the basis of characters, the plants has three types. First one is herbs. So just according to the names, I am just giving you what are the ideas. Herbs means they have some characters like soft stem. Their stem is not like what are the ideas we get from the trees. They are hard and stern type of stem. It is not like that. Another character of herbs, not branched or in some cases very less branched. Another striking feature of herbs, that is they generally their lifespan is short. Generally they are annual or biennial. So these are the characters of herbs. So now what are the examples and some specializations in the herbs? So let's look. As for example, the like cereals like rice, wheat, etc. are the examples of herbs. But there are some definitions you have to know about the herbs family. Some modifications, or you can say some specific names. Just like I can mention that the creepers, climbers, third one is stranglers. What are the means, how they are actually isolated from each other? The creepers, they are also herbs. Three are the herbs, but creepers are some herbs, they are analogous to the ground level. They could not rise up to their level. Okay, so they are much more associated with the soil level. And in case of climbers, the name suggests they have an ability to climb. How they can climb? They can climb their own, without the support of others. No, they need some supports. Just like you have seen in your garden, some the cucurbita trees, some trees like pea. They made some branches. there is some system, and on the basis of their branches the climbers climb upon the support, and they becomes, I mean, mature day by day. So they are climbers. And another one is the stranglers. Stranglers does not follows the creepers or climbers family. They have abrupt. They are randomly encircles the their, I mean, supports. So they are the stranglers. So these are three special modifications of the herbs. So this is about the herbs. Now the second category of plant according to the character, that is shrubs. So what are shrubs? What are the characteristic? First character, which is the striking difference from the herbs, they are branched. Even it is seen also that alongside the stem, the base, very base of the stem, the branches has been made. So they are branched. Their stem is moderate, not like so soft like I mean herbs, but not too strong like trees also. So this is moderate, and their lifespan ALS, that means lifespan, that is not very long. It is also not very long lifespan. They generally leads from 2 to 3 years in an average. So these are some characteristics of shrubs. So some examples. Examples like the very common plants like rose. This is an example of shrubs. So the third category of our types of the plants, that is the most eminent one and most visible, that is the trees. Now what are the striking features about the trees? That is, first of all, they are made up of hard stem. This is the main feature of their trees, hard and stern, and that from the the trees stems we made furnitures, etc. So they are very hard like structure, not like shrubs or herbs. Another is long lifespan. LS means lifespan. So they can live a long time, for a long time. Another feature that if you compare to the herbs and shrubs to their branches, we have seen that in case of the herbs, they are less branched or even the branch is not present. In case of shrubs, the quite opposite. The shrubs are very much, the branches are quite prevalent. But in case of trees, the branches can be there, it cannot be there. So it is just like in case of that character, it maintains the intermediate of them. It can be branched, it may not be so branched. Okay. So these are the features of trees. So you all know, but still I am giving some examples of trees like the mango tree, banyan tree, and other trees are, the examples of tree. So I don't think I need to elaborate it. So these are the three types of plants. Now the second portion of this chapter to do the discussion, just that's why I am erasing the first heading also, that is the description of parts of the plant. So what are the points of our description? First part, that is we will discuss, that is root, stem, flower and leaves. So these four parts of the plant we have to discuss. What to discuss? Their brief description. So all of their description plus function. So description and function we have to discuss of these 4 parts one by one. So let's have a look. First of all, I am starting with root. In case of root, you know this is the understory of the tree, that is the root system, which is negatively phototropic and positively geotropic in that sense. And root basically 2 types. One is tap root, another is the fibrous root. Tap root is present where there is a single, the main root is there, and on the alongside of the main roots there are some branches can be visible. The tap roots are much more prevalent in shrubs and trees, whereas the fibrous roots are much more prevalent in case of herbs. If you consider this as a soil layer, the fibrous root is like this. They have no any, this is the fibrous root, they have no any central root. So they are just like a mesh like structure. But if you want to look the structure of tap root, it is like, if you consider it is a basic level, so this is the principal root and there are some branches has been elongated, there may be other branches also there. So this is the tap root and this is the fibrous root. So this is the fibrous root and this is the tap root. So these are their basic structure, gross structure on the picture. So there are 2 types of roots and where it is found I also told you. Prop root can also be seen. These some modifications of there. So and also this is the generalized root. Root can be modified also. The modified root, basically for the storage purpose, storage of food they use. As for example of modified root, like just a minute. It can be radish, carrot. These are the examples, or beet. These are the examples of the modified root, mainly for the storage of food purpose. So this is a specialized function. And if you look at the generalized function of root, that is, you know all that what is the generalized function of root. First of all, they used to quench the capillary water for their food making process. It will pass to the stem and stem will finally reaches the water minerals as well as the water and minerals to the leaves, and the leaves will make the food, and by the phloem cell the food will be distributed to the other parts of the plant. This is the very common scenario. So the main function of root to quench the capillary water, quench the capillary water, as well as the supportive function to anchor the trees with the soil. That is also the function of root, anchoring trees with soil. Somewhat it also prevents the soil erosion process by this way. So these are the main functions of root. The root has several modifications other than modified root also. Just like in Kia tree, we have seen that a supporting root. Supporting roots for their support. In your books, you have find the pictures of supporting roots, just like if it is a tree, you can find this type of roots are there with the base level. So this is the supporting root. You have seen in the banyan tree there are roots are, this is coming from upper sides. So these are some modifications of the roots and they have specialized function. So this is about the root. Next part of our discussion, the next structure, that is the stem. Stem is exactly opposite to the root. It is in the upper story of the plant. The stem is positively phototropic and negatively geotropic and hydrotropic also. And the stem that upholds the total structure of the plant except the root, it carries the leaves, flowers, whatever else the visible part of a plant that carries by the stem. So now a brief idea of stem. So what is the main function of the stem? First if you come to the function, I am not talking about modified right now, I am just talking the generalized function. So generalized function is to the functions of what? Of stem. To uphold the entire upstory of tree. Next, carrying flowers, fruits, as well as the support system from above the soil level. So there are the three main functions has been clarified of the stems. Now look at the function of the modified stem. Just like modified root, there are some modified stem also. It is found in our nature. Modified stem. Just like an example, the excellent example is potato. Potato like a vegetable is there, portulaca. Very common example, that is ginger. Other examples of modified stems. What is the function of them? Same function of the storage. Storage of what? Storage of food. So this is the main function of the modified stem and stem. Sometimes, let me tell one thing, some stems of some plants are become green. That means they also helps in photosynthesis. Though this is some exception case, but it can occur. And stem carries lenticel. Lenticel is responsible for the respiration or the transpiration process of the plants also. So this is about a brief description of stem. Now the third one and one of the most important one, that is the leaf. First let me draw the structure of leaf. It's grossly like this. So this is a cross structure of a leaf. First let me tell what are the parts of it. From where the leaf is attached to the stem, suppose it is a stem and from here the leaf is attached, this is called petiole. And this is the stem or of leaf, stem of leaf. And then there is a main vein that is occurs, this is called the midrib. The total this structure, the total surface area of the leaf, that is called the rachis or this is called the rachis or the total surface area of leaf. Now some interesting things occur in this type of system. So we have see that this is a midrib, but not only that, along side of the midrib there can be several venation can done. Venation, there are several types of venation can be done. According to the type of venation, the leaves has two types. There are two types of venation, parallel and one is the reticulate. When the venation is just occurs parallelly on the leaves, it is called the parallel venation. And when it is quite unstructured way in a reticulate formation, this is called the reticulate venation. The leaf has other types of classification also, like if from a particular petiole that one leaf forms, it is called the simple leaf. If there is more than one leaves from one particular petiole, if more than one, it is called the compound. According to the surface, surface, they have been also some classification. Just like if the surface of the leaf, both side plane, is called the isobilateral leaf. If one side is quartz and another side is plane, one side, of course rough also you can say, it is called the dorsoventral. So these are two types of leaves. Just like stem and root, the leaf also have some modifications. So now modifications of leaves. Modified leaves, you know that in case of the xerophytes, they have been modified to the stems, okay, for the protection purpose. Sometimes some leaves has been modified to uphold the water or water retention purpose. So these are the modified leaves example. What are the generalized function of leaf? You know very well that in the photosynthesis, to make the food of the, that's why leaf is also called the kitchen of the plants. To make the food or photosynthesis, it occurs in the leaves. How it occurs in the photosynthesis process, that is elaborated in class 7, then I will discuss very elaborately later. So that is the main function of the leaf. So this is about the leaf. Next, and one of the most, which gives you the scenic beauty of a plant, that is the flower. So flower gives you the aesthetic beauty and the actual beauty of a plant. So in this portion, the parts of the flower, of a complete flower, that is very important. So first of all, I have to tell that what are the parts of the flower. Sepal or calyx, petal or corolla, stamen and pistil. Stamen is also called as androecium, and pistil is also called as gynoecium. So these are the four parts of a complete flower. togetherly they called as the whole, WHORL. So it is also called the four holes of a flower. These four holes of a flower that upholds in a structure that is called as thalamus. Thalamus is a structure which upholds the four components of a flower. So these are the structure of a complete flower. If the four components are there in a flower, that is called the complete flower. But here one thing is you have to remember that all flower is not a complete flower. I mean the calyx and the corolla, I mean the sepal and petal, they will be the common in all flower, but the exchange occurs in the androecium and gynoecium, I mean the stamen and pistil. In case of the unisexual flower, they have been stamen and pistil in different flowers, but in case of the bisexual flower, they are in a same flower. Just like if you take the example of China rose, this is like the bisexual flower, and if you take the example of Cucurbita maxima, Cucurbita pepo, which is called the papaya or I mean the Cucurbita gourd or bitter gourd, etc., then they are the unisexual flowers, or they are male female flower in different parts. So this is about the classification of the flower. Now what are the parts of the flower? I told you that important is the picture also. So I am drawing some gross pictures. Just like if you take this is structure of a calyx, and here which upholds the fourth structure, that is the thalamus. I am just drawing separately. You can also apply this trick also. Rather than drawing total in a one way, you can draw isolated structure also in your exam if the question comes in a broad way. So this is the calyx and thalamus. Here you can see this is petal or corolla. Here this is the stamen. In the upper part of the stamen, this is called the anther, and lower part is the filament. So this is the stamen. One structure remains, that is the female structure of the pistil. So let me draw it. It is the female portion of a flower, or it is called as a pistil or gynoecium, whatever else you can write, no problem. The upper portion of the pistil, that is the stigma, and this elongated portion is the style, and here the flappy portion, this is the ovary. Ovary contains some more smaller things. It is called the ovules. So this is the structure of a pistil. Stigma's main function is to collect the pollen that transfers from the anther by some pollinating agent. Then the pollen goes to the style, and here forms a temporary structure called the pollen tube, and finally the pollen will mix in the ovary and the ovule. Then the fertilization occurs. In the fertilization that is elaborated in class 7, I have to discuss it, but once again for the information I am telling that after the fertilization the ovary will transform to the fruit and the ovules will transform to the seed. So here the actual fertilization process occurs in the pistil. Okay. Special modifications, like some plants you will find that tepal. What is tepal? Sepal plus petal together. This is the tepal. In some plants they are together, so sepal plus petal makes a tepal structure. So, and also just what I have drawn, these are the gross structures. You can use these structures for your exam just to elaborate it. In science, in biological science, you don't need to shade or anything, just a scientific depiction is needed. And in this chapter, the grossly whatever was that I have covered, and if there are some additional information needed, I will discuss in the next forward classes. But for now, that's it. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.